All right. After a long weekend, we've got three great stories. Have we read them? Do we know what's in store for us? We do not. Only way to find out is to watch the Clash of the Pencils live stream. Hit the button.
Turn on the screen tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The story central time. Breaking down the plot. Characters that fought. Twist that hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Breaking down the plots.
All right. Welcome to Clash of the Pencils, the only full contact creative writing esports league in the existence of the history of Earth, potentially the universe. I'm Tom Sherman, joined as always by Greg the Egg Peterson. We are here to analyze the plot, character, and setting of the top short stories of the day. So every day, authors from across the internet submit a handwritten one-page story based off a prompt we reveal at the end of our live stream. The public at large then votes for the top three, and we reveal the winner at the end of each show. So if you want to play, if you want to join the fun, it's easy. Download the app. Oh, let's see here. Hold on. Here we go. If you want to play, here's how you do it. First thing you do is download the app. We've got links in the description here on the YouTube page for the iPhone and Android app. So download the app, and then you submit a story. You pick your favorite, and then you watch the live stream. And then after that, you submit your story. You pick your favorite, you watch the live stream, and you keep on going in a virtuous cycle until when, Greg?
It never ends. You just approach infinity and you've out Shakespeared Shakespeare.
It's exactly like that. So if you want to be the next Shakespeare, all you got to do is keep watching the live stream and submitting, I guess.
Just smash that subscribe button and Shakespeare is inevitable.
They're going to be studying you in high school for centuries to come.
Centuries. You would be frustrating the kids of 2400.
They're going to be so bitter. And they're going to be like, this is art. You don't understand. So anyways.
It's the canon, Tom. It's the canon.
It's the canon. Life wouldn't be like this if they hadn't submitted, Slice submits 8,000 stories, whatever. All right, so checking out the leaderboard for the day. Today is the day one of the week. Slice, Rack, and 2 Meat French in the top 3. Nacho's story not in the top 3, so having a 5 points. Although Nacho's story did file a horse hockey alert. Fun fact.
What? More horse? No.
Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, horse hockey reigns supreme around here. We'll have to check out how that goes later. So, all right. And then here was our prompt for today. An owl, a penguin, and a young sparrow attend a flight school for birds. So, bearing that in mind, with our keys to victory, between the plot, setting, and character, what are you looking for here out of our triangle today, Greg?
It's a delightful prompt. I'm wondering how these characters, who seem like they come with ready-made personalities, how can they have a plot that's satisfying?
Right. Well, that'll be what we can see, or what we're looking for when combined. The elements of plot, character, and setting triangulate to create that story. The closer an author can strike to the center of each element, the more engaging, visceral, and exciting that story will be. And speaking of engaging, exciting, and visceral stories, I think that means we are ready to view our first one of the day.
Let's
So
do it.
let's do it. We are going to queue up. This is Meat French called Coach Mud.
It was chaotic ball of feathers everywhere. The penguin held the owl in a fin chokehold, but the owl's neck kept on tuning and turning. The young sparrow was an afterthought given how diminutive he was, but was in the mix pecking at the other birds rapidly, yet with little effect. A shrill ring rang out. Coach Mud, a red-tailed hawk, said, "Time out, birdsmen. Get some water and group back here on the mats in 5 minutes." Coach Mud had been running the Feathened Fight School for 20 years down here in Florida, obviously only seasonally open due to migratory impacts. Birds looking to either gain some self-esteem or practice self-defense lined his school from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. He had only the basics: a cleared dirt floor, a water bucket, and that's it. He spent the majority of the day bouncing around, sweeping up bird feathers and bird poop, and then demonstrating fighting tactics. He had one ethos, though: what happens in the feathered fight schools stays in the feathered fight school. Many a bird had or kicked out for tailing a friends about the training and sparring. Mud was exactly what you'd think him, an oversized hulk of a bird, but wore the scars of many fights. He was a no-nonsense bird who would make a small bird tremble when dagger eyes pierced, though you penguin, you fight like a goldfish.
Okay, so it seems like we're transported into a wrestling class of sorts. 4 birds at this flight school. Coach Mud, a red-tailed hawk, commandeering a penguin, sparrow, and owl. Really more of a character sort of development of Coach Mud, what he does during class, kind of fiddling around, sweeping up feathers and poop, and then jumping into spar real quick. Um, yeah, just
There
a
was
classic
no
gym
plot,
coach.
but the snapshot we get of this world is pretty incredible.
It is a strong world. That's a fact.
I thought I was most intrigued by the line of just kind of the backstory. Coach Mudd had been running the Feathened, which I think is probably feathered flight school for 20 years down here in Florida. Obviously, only seasonally open due to migratory impacts. The fact that you could do 20 years of this exact activity and you can you can have students for days, but then what you're doing in the flight school is just teaching basic fighting and self-defense tactics that you're not allowed to talk about.
Mhm.
And so what I'm wondering is, how does he have 20 years of students and get this sterling reputation, and then but at the same time you can't ever talk about it, Tom? It's the only rule he enforces, and he's a no nonsense red-tailed hawk.
Right, right. Yeah, I that's kind of like one of those Ponzi schemes where it's like, don't tell anybody about it, and then all of a sudden, you're
Yeah.
overloaded with new investors.
Yeah.
So,
It seems like the birds are weak out there. It seems like they're not making birds like they used to.
right, no, and they need a coach like Coach Mud to, really, yeah, teach them how to fight. What's interesting? It's almost like this was called the Feathered Flight School, and then the L dropped off the sign,
It just became Fight Club, right?
and it just became a fight club. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the impression I got. But a delightful romp. I think you're right. Strong characters, very good setting, and then plot just kind of out there. Not really there. Just a quick uh, vignette of Coach
Yeah.
Mudd's
Little
life.
snapshot. Little
Yeah.
slice of life.
Yeah, love it. So, all right, strong start here from Meat French for the week. Let's next one here from Racontus called "Too Cool for Bird School."
Percival adjusted his cap as the radio crackled to life. Jet 742, this is Tower, do you copy? Copy Tower, this is Jet 742. How you doing, Percy? Hanging in. Instruments look good, considering. We've been in tougher spots. Percival smiled ruefully at the reassuring voice from the control tower and glanced over at his co-pilot, afraid to take his eyes off heaven or air even a moment. Percival Penguin and Orville Gull had been flying together for years. Orville always loved the night flights, but he was knocked out cold. Percival and Orville rotated with another bird buddy from Cormorant Flight School, Stanley Stosh Sparrow. Stosh was off the flight clock these days and running the tower at Columbidae International Airport. The three had entered CFS as fledglings. Orville, being nocturnal, had trouble with morning classes. Stosh had a bit of a Napoleon complex but was a good egg, and Percival was a flightless bird. They couldn't have been more different, but quickly bonded over their love of Cheetos and Doctor Who. They enjoyed long careers as pilots on the north-south route of Atlantic Canary Airlines. Jet 742, the runways have been cleared. Your choice. We have emergency crews ready. Just touch down and hit the brakes. We'll do the rest. Copy tower. Coming around once more. Oh, look who joined the party. Orville, Morn, sit up straight. We got to land this plane on 2 wheels. Could use that night vision now, brother. Orville shook his head to clear it. Woo, he said weakly. You're good, Percival said. It's like that training exercise in school. Ramalama. Remember what to do? Orville nodded. Here we go, Percival grunted, and as he pushed the yoke forward. Their training remembered. The flightless bird and the bird with night vision landed the plane safely, guided by their good buddy in the tower.
All right, so here we have Percival, Stosh, and Orville, buddies from flight school from long ago. Now, 2 as pilots. That's Percival and Orville, and 1 in the control tower. That's Stosh. They command a plane through what seems to be an emergency situation. We don't know how it started or really how it ends, and yet talked home by the Sparrow. I don't know. Is that about right? I mean,
That's about right. That's about right. What I want to celebrate here, it's great to see Raconteuse back in the top 3 here, is there is an incredible world building through and character and plot all coming primarily through dialogue. And this is the Raconteuse weapon of choice. It's to get these really, really close relationships represented and build a world just through the kind of the chit chat that they're having as they go about this. This almost feels like a play with just dialogue, and you can imagine the rest of the setting. So we get 3 characters here. The only thing that links them is their love of Cheetos and Doctor Who. Nice little detail there. But we've got Orville the Gull, who has trouble with morning classes. We've got Stosh the Sparrow, who is paradoxically has a Napoleon complex, but still a pretty good egg, Tom. Still good egg.
I mean, Napoleon wasn't that bad, right?
I think Stosh belongs in the fight school, not the flight school. He's had Mud's training. And then Percival the Penguin is flightless, with a nice irony going on. I love the world building of the north-south route along the Atlantic Canary Islands. Like, they've been doing this for 20 years. They know each other. And all they have to do is do a procedure. And in those 20 years, they've probably seen everything. And so then in this situation, at night to do this challenging landing, it's the Ramalama training exercise, Tom. Yep. Just pull out it's just Ramalama, and then boom. Like you said, we don't know the danger, but we can kind of assume it. But the way they problem solved felt really, really authentic, and I felt like this was a team. I felt good about this. This had a very, very successful plot. What about you?
It was great. It was and it seemed very true to life. Like, I haven't flown on Atlantic Canary Airlines ever, but I could imagine that this is the sort of conversation the pilots in the tower might have during an emergency situation in an airline as such. So it was I think it was a great like you said, they really built a world out of just that dialogue between the characters and created this setting and plot. So it was another master stroke here from Raconteuse. All right, very good. Nothing more to say about that.
I was in my head, just so you know. I was like,
yeah, the commentary you were adding was great.
Hemingway and the iceberg theory, and then I was like, no one wants the Hemingway reference.
Yeah, no more Hemingway references. That's it. You had your chance
already. That's our quota. People tuning out. This is not elitist.
Had your chance. All right, let's see if we can work a Hemingway reference into our next one from Slice. This is called Go Birds.
Go birds, you'll kill us all, Spiro chirped. Steer away from the seagulls. Who thought it'd be a good idea to let a penguin fly? Owlson asked. Enough, Tom Cruise said sternly. "You sound like chickens. Tom Cruise Bird of Flight School is a place of learning foremost, and a place of courage and leadership. I don't want to even think about what engrams have inflicted your thetans for millennia." "Whoa, cool it, Tom Cruise," Tom Cruise said, regaining the controls of the jet. "Don't forget how John Travolta's bird is a Birds Academy wound up." Tom Cruise maintained a comfortable altitude and tried his best to unite the three students. He explained Penguindolin had every right to be in the air along with Spiro, whose parents were too afraid to take him out on flying lessons themselves. His brain hadn't fully developed yet, so he was impulsive, and youth is dangerous to life. Olsen needed a stronger prescription maybe, or maybe she just needed to give up her keys. From here on out, we swallow our pride, stalk to the flight plan, and crow in our learning together as a team. Just then, an engine exploded, and the cabin filled with feathers. Tom Cruise composed himself enough to look out the window and see John Travolta flying next to him with that Hollywood smile. Tom Cruise felt like how Penguindolin must feel. Attacked by a fellow science bro was worse than being a fish out of water, and oddly enough, right where Penguindolin wanted to be. Tom Cruise knew if Tom Cruise had any hope of bringing John Travolta before the committee of evidence, he'd need to finally think like a penguin. He took the jet into a nosedive, heading straight into the ocean below. John Travolta followed his fellow science bro closely. As the jet neared a splash, Spiro cried. Olsen turned her head around and Penguindolin winked. Tom Cruise pulled up, John Travolta crashed, Penguindolin graduated.
All right, so here we have Penguindolin, Owlson, and Spiro, all in the Tom Cruise Bird of Flight School. Tom Cruise teaching important lessons on friendship and teamwork and then
Machiavellian piloting tactics.
Machiavellian piloting tactics. And then an engine explodes. All of a sudden, Tom Cruise turns to look, sees his rival, John Travolta, of John Travolta's Birds Academy. And so then all of a sudden, Tom Cruise has to make some quick decisions and realizes that Tom Cruise has to think like a penguin, takes the jet into a nosedive, and yet as he's about to crash into the ocean, pulls up, John Travolta crashes, Tom Cruise saves the day and can bring John Travolta before the committee of evidence.
Thank you for that summary. That was actually helpful. Obviously, this is so meta. It's almost like Slice had a week to just think about this and turn up the meta and turn up the irony. And then it's like, the entire thing is as disorienting as it must have been to be in that nosedive down.
Right.
The reader, I was put into that experience trying to get control over the plane and just get some orientation. I thought it was very interesting to me. Tom Cruise, who was talking, the character was talking in third person. So it's almost like undoing what the Raconteur story was with this natural, authentic, easy dialogue. This was, okay, Tom Cruise is saying things about Tom Cruise. It was really jarring, almost pulling you out of it, which was an interesting effect. We've got, whoa, cool it, Tom Cruise said. So it's like this, he's arguing against himself. The best sentence to me was, from here on out, we swallow our pride, stork to the flight plan, and crow in our learning together as a team.
Yeah.
So we've got some wicked puns going on here as we repeat these platitudes or dogmas about teamwork. Whereas in the last story, in Raconteuse's story, the teamwork felt very organic, and I was rooting. It feels almost ironic. Like, I didn't get a sense of any of the birds. It was really about the two flight school owners going head to head. And so there wasn't the character development. There was a kind of, I don't know, aggressive undercurrent. We didn't get the same infectious sense of teamwork and coming to challenge to overcome the challenge and complete the mission from the birds. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, this was a delightful romp. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed this Tom Cruise character talking to himself and basically like being this like domineering teacher that really sucks up all the oxygen out of the rest of the class. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had a teacher like that where it's more about
never.
no.
Yes.
It's more about themselves than the instruction. And I thought it was great. I also thought it was great that the end where it's like Tom Cruise had to think like a penguin, and so then the sparrow cries, the owl turns its head around, and then the penguin just winks at Tom Cruise, and that's when he pulls up, and then the penguin graduates, and it's one of those things of like the student teaching the teacher learning more from the student than that's something that you hear every June. The teachers are like, I learned more from you than you learned from me. And in this case, Tom Cruise,
it's true.
It's true.
It's the only non-empty platitude that is in the whole story.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. It's great. I thought the plot was just out of control, and yeah, it was a fantastic story. So actually, and here's what we have to do now. We have one more story because Nacho Story's horse hockey alert did get granted. The story was submitted on time, and yet it did not go through. So that's skewed all the data. We're going to look at this one real quick. This is Nacho Story's Bird School. Bird School. I don't know. That's what we'll call it. Bird School.
It's the first day of flight school, and Chump is fretting because none of his penguin suits fit him anymore. The pants would slide off every time Chump hopped. Even his new lime green trousers don't fit him. Having no other choice, Chump slipped on a pair of jeans that came up to his knees. When Chump got to his brand new school, he was greeted by orange walls and piles of feathers that topple over if you rub your hands against them. Hola, Chump. You remember me? Mary wiped her shiny pink feather case on the mat. No. No, how can you forget me? Look at my boots, my fuzzy sweater, my handmade hat, my... Mary was cut off by the teacher, who clapped her hands. Mary and Chump, I will separate you two if I have to. And Carl, you... Miss Cuckoo stopped, confused. Carl? Is Carl here? Suddenly, a black figure appeared in the doorway. Sorry, Miss Cuckoo Head, I mean Miss Cuckoo. I forgot to set my alarm. It rang at 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. like it usually does. Carl, an owl in pyjamas with fire trucks all over his shirt, explained, trying not to yawn. That was your excuse last time. You had to drop by at Owlbucks because your alarm didn't go off. Miss Cuckoo raged.
All right, so here we have a penguin nervous about their first day of school, can't fit into any of its clothes, gets greeted by a talkative sparrow, which then gets the ire of Mrs. Cuckoo and threatens to separate them. When then Miss Cuckoo gets distracted, looks for Carl the owl, who overslept. Classic, left the alarm at 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. Looks like it's going to be a long year for Mrs. Cuckoo.
Yeah, you got and Carl, you got to go buy the owl bucks. You got to get by that owl bucks because it's literally marketed towards you, the owl.
Right? Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
No, this was a delightful another slice of life, similar to the first story, where we get some world building in Bird World. First day of school for sure. Lot of first day of school outfits that I'm noticing. Pink feather case on the mat. My fuzzy sweater, my boots, my handmade hat. These birds are decked out. They are to the nines. I'm sure kids don't say
that. I don't think kids have said that for like 5 years.
I mean, as it gets, Tom. We are dinosaurs here, trying to make it in the world.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I would have loved a little bit more plot. In terms of maybe there was some sort of reversal, but in terms of the world building, I liked the characters, I liked the dialogue, I liked the setting. Just a little more needed to happen to pull off some to give some closure or resolution.
Yeah, the plot was lacking there, much like with Meat French's, but I thought it was great character development as far as they really sort of keyed in on some classic tropes from all these birds and really made them as part of their own character development, semi-character plot where it's like, oh, I'm not going to have anything to wear. That's a not a big plot line, but it's something that penguin was worried about.
It was. It's realistic. That's real, Tom. That's real in this penguin's world.
That is real. So, anyways, that was a great story there. All we got to do now is hit a couple buttons. We'll reveal our winner, and all that and more. The top 5 sentences of the day. We just have a quick commercial break here from our sponsors.
Un jaguar busca y busca agua clara en la montaña, bebe del manantial, pero no es como el oro. La cola dorada que las fieras ansían, de Peyoyo el cola es la que el corazón guía. La cola de oro, la cola que anhelo, no hay comparación en mi reino entero. El manantial es fresco, el agua pura brilla, pero algo le falta, de Peyoyo el maravilla.
That's Tepe Yolotl Cola. It's the soda that jaguars crave.
Well, they paid for the long format, I guess.
They really did. They busted out the big bucks on that one.
And the scientists were studying the jaguar to get the secret ingredient.
Try to figure out how to get them in the can.
Yeah, those Coca-Cola executives doing it again.
They did it.
No market is untapped. No market is safe.
No.
Oh.
So, all right, that was good stuff here. Let's go into, I guess, the top 5 sentences of the day. Actually, I just need to upload it. So while we're doing that, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the button, and we'll see who won. Set the winner. Clicking the button. Drum roll, please. Racontoose taking the top slot. Blow. Boom.
I think the internet got it right today. That was my favorite story, Tom.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was it. I thought Slice was going to get the vote out for sure. Even Meat French. I mean, Meat French had a great story there. I thought they could have pulled up the upset.
It was that Hemingway dialogue. It was that iceberg dialogue.
It's every time. It'll get you every time. So let's see what this means to our scoreboard, which actually it means nothing because the horse hockey alert was granted and the commissioner said everybody gets 20 points. We've got a 4-way tie at the top spot between Slice, Racontoose, Meat French, and Nacho Story. The data was corrupted.
Wow. That just means we have to reset. Play it. The next game matters double. Just
even more. It's unbelievable what could happen around here with, I don't know, anything. This is coherent. I am being coherent right now. I don't know.
It's all going to be clipped for TikTok, Tom. Nobody watches long.
Nobody watches the whole thing. All right, good.
I've got that. I've got the prompt for tomorrow. Do we want it?
Do you want to do that or the top 5 first?
Let's do the top 5 first.
Right.
That was a teaser.
Top 5 sentences of the night. Here we go. Brought to you by Tepe Yolotl Cola. Number 5 from Meat French. The penguin held the owl in a fin chokehold, but the owl's neck kept on turning and turning. The young sparrow was an afterthought, given how diminutive he was, but in the mix, pecking at the other birds rapidly, yet with little effect. Number 4 from Racontoose. Orville, being nocturnal, had trouble with morning classes. Stosh had a bit of a Napoleon complex, but was a good egg. And Percival was a flightless bird. Number 3 from Slice. From here on out, we swallow our pride, stork to the flight plan, and crow in our learning together as a team. Number 2 from Nacho Story. Chump is fretting because none of his penguin suits fit him anymore. The pants would slide off every time Chump hopped. Even his new lime green trousers didn't fit.
Devastating.
It's terrible. And then the number 1 sentence of the night from Slice. Tom Cruise knew if Tom Cruise had any hope of bringing John Travolta before the committee of evidence, he'd need to finally think like a penguin.
Those are extraordinary. Shout out story, folks. Shout out story.
Yeah,
These are great images.
it's perfect. So, all right, those are the top 5 sentences of the night. Greg, you say you have the hot info on what the prompt is going on.
I've got a rumor. The rumor says strange things start happening in the local library after hours. So a group of kids form a ghost club to investigate and uncover the library's hidden secrets.
Wow. Wow. Read that back one more time.
All
Read that back one more time. That was a long.
Strange things start happening in the local library after hours, so a group of kids form a ghost club to investigate and uncover the library's hidden secrets.
Wow. Wow. So let's see. We've got setting in a library. We've got characters and the kids in a ghost club, and we've got a plot in that strange things are happening.
It's all there. All you need to do is grab one sheet of paper and bring it to life.
Wow. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing what those submissions say. And until then, keep those pencils sharp.
And don't let your creativity get captured.
Turn on the street tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The Story Central time. Breaking down the plot. Characters that fought. Twist that hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories?